Okay, hello everybody. Today we're going to talk a little bit about research tips for your digital inquiry project. Okay, here's a little bit about the basics. You're going to be doing research to help you answer your guiding question from your topic proposal. That's why your guiding question is so important. Your argument is informed by your research. So you may have a hypothesis, you may already know kind of like where your group is swaying in terms of how to answer your question, but you need to read your research and then you need to adjust that argument as you read more about your topic and hopefully get a little bit more into the complexity of the topic as well. You should have 5 to 7 sources, and your website needs a sources page with a basic works cited page. All of your evidence, including your quotes, should be scattered throughout all of your pages to back up your different points and possible subtopics. And overall, just think about our nonfiction unit. You're basically constructing an argument just like all of the authors did when they were writing about marriage. And so just as they did, you need to be an expert. I need to show that you're an expert and that you have a reason that you're able to write this, and that is through research. You're not writing like a full-on paper, but you're creating something for people to look at that has an argument. So where to find research? I'm going to show you some database recommendations and news sources. Okay. First off, I really recommend Gale databases and doing some searches in Gale. In this screenshot, this is where you go to the presentation website, you go to the student portal, you click on the library link, you click Gale, and then from there, these 3 search engines that I have highlighted is Gale in Context, Opposing Viewpoints, High School, and then Global Issues. I think are the 3 that are going to work best based on all of your different topics. Okay, so get those going, take a look at all of them. Remember, the password is nanonagel lowercase. The other one that I think might be worthwhile to look at is JSTOR. I like JSTOR. I've always been kind of a fan of JSTOR. You have to go in, you have to click on advanced search. You have to put in keywords, and notice on the left-hand side on my screenshot, I put narrow by articles and research reports. I don't want to read a whole book. I don't really want to read a review. I don't understand what pamphlets or miscellaneous is, so I'm not going to click them. Okay, so once I did that, on the right-hand side is where I had my answers here, some of my things. That's how it looks. You can go through it and you can click your different articles that you're interested in. This is where you're going to find more scholarly articles rather than just news sources. And then kind of going along with scholarly articles, going to Google Scholar, scholar.google.com, you can put in a bunch of keywords and see what you came up with. And then also Google News is a great site, news.google.com. And if you look on the right-hand side, I put my texting and language, I believe was my keyword. And I got some responses, though a lot of them are about coronavirus, which I don't necessarily want to write about, but I'm going to have to parse through that. So you might be parsing through some Google News because the news is all about the coronavirus. So keep that in mind when you're going through. Okay. Basically, you want variety in your research. It shouldn't just all be from the news. It shouldn't just all be one type of thing. You want to show that you have basically done a variety of research and you want to show that scholars have thought about this topic as well, or perhaps that studies have been done. You want opinion pieces, you want all types of different things. Okay, so look around. Don't just like pick the first 5 articles from Google Scholar and be like, good, I'm done. You need more than that, okay? You need to look around and find the best possible research possible. Which gets me to the next slide, getting creative with research. You don't just have to find articles, okay? You could also build your own data pool. And so some ideas for creating your own data is reaching out to different organizations, different people, and different institutions, and trying to get different points of view. You can send emails asking for information or asking if they don't mind answering a few questions. You can send it to local government officials, local organizations, local schools and universities. You can ask for an interview. For example, in my texting idea, I can ask a professor of linguistics at a college. Pretty easy to be able to find that information online. I can say, hey, I'm a high school kid and I'm doing a project on texting and its effect on language. I have a few questions. Can I ask you 2 questions? And see what they say. Or I can ask a club officer related to my topic here at Prez. If I'm doing sports, I can go talk to the sports people, the athletics department. I could go talk to the athletics department and see what they say. There's a lot of different options, and you can go talk to people or send them an email and ask if you can get some questions. I can ask a teacher at Prez for an interview. The worst you'll get is a no, thank you, or no response. So try it. You can poll your fellow students. You can poll your teachers or other adults. I would just say if you do want to send out a school-wide poll, to first let me approve it and to let me look at it before we send it out. I think I'm the one that has to put it on the bulletin, the student bulletin or the faculty bulletin. So I would need to look at that first. Also, remember when you do polls, keep them short, keep them multiple choice, or pick 1 through 5. What do you think about this? Do things like that, because when you ask them to write responses, people don't do it. People don't take long surveys. Okay. So keep it short. Some tips for seeking outside feedback is if you wanted to send an email to someone you're trying to reach out to that you don't really know, be clear about who you are and your project and your topic. Keep your emails and your correspondence short. Keep interviews short, right? Just so that they don't feel overwhelmed by what you're doing. Be kind and grateful for their help. Okay. And don't sweat it if you don't get the response desired. Just try and see. This might give you some really interesting and unique feedback. It might be really cool to see what people in your community think, but don't sweat it if you don't get the responses desired. Remember, biases exist, something to acknowledge on your site if you feel that way. For example, in my texting with language, I might go to a linguistics professor who has been teaching linguistics for 35 years at a local college, who might think that texting is super, super bad for language development. And it may be a little bit biased because that's how that person has felt for a very long time. I may be able to find research that contradicts that, and then I have to have an argument, use my oppositions, right? Concede to some points, but then go on with my argument. Opposition is still a thing here, okay, with this. The type of research overall that you do is driven by your topic question. And these type of research modes, if you did a poll, that counts as your 5 to 7 source count. Okay. Overall, keep it organized. Okay. With your group, find a way to organize and record all of the research that you're doing so that you don't lose precious research and quotes. Seek help. I can help you find research. I can talk to you about making polls or sending emails. I do recommend that you do some of that stuff early if you did want to do some creation of your own data. Okay. Get that going today, and definitely by next class. So I can help you find research. Miss Lemon is still your librarian. And she is an email away to help you out. Okay, narrow it down. In the beginning, you may be scanning a lot of different resources, but once you kind of start making some sort of organizational thing, you can start narrowing those down to the research that best works for you, and start to begin constructing an argument. We're going to be talking about that a little bit more in my next mini lesson, but keep yourself, just start in your back of your mind. Your group members need to reach a consensus about what exactly you want to argue. How are we narrowing research to kind of get to an argument about our topic? And overall, going along with group, you need to make some decisions with your group today as you start to begin research. How will you organize research? How will you divide up research? What are some keywords you will use when searching databases? This might be really good to make sure that everybody is having some success in looking up stuff. How will you meet today? How will you meet next class? Do you want a conference call each other every day? Do you want to chat? Do you want to text? What time are you going to be meeting? The expectation, like I said, is that you're going to be meeting for 80 minutes today and next class. So what's going to happen? How are you going to ensure that everyone is doing their work? Do you want to create roles? How are you going to reach a consensus in defining, narrowing, and forming an argument for your topic? How will you reach a consensus about the research you are going to ultimately use to back yourselves up? There's a lot of questions that come with working with a group, and maybe not all of these are some that you have to answer today, but organizing, dividing up work, thinking about how you're going to meet, those are things that you're going to have to make some decisions about. Okay. Any questions overall that come up with your research, go ahead and ask me. You will be spending the rest of this class period and next conducting research. We are not going to formally meet next class. So I'm not going to be starting a WebEx conference call. But the expectation is that you are working with your groups during class time in whatever form you all have chosen. If you decide to sleep or not meet, you're going to have to do a lot of work outside of class. So keep that in mind. Okay. I am always available during class time, even though I'm not going to be starting a WebEx call. I am here anytime, like during the class time. I don't go to sleep. I will be here trying to see if you need any help and, coming and talking to you if you want to. Okay, so always know that I'm available to talk to you guys, and I will see you all back on WebEx for the first period. I'll see you back on the 30th, and for my 7th period, I will see you back on the 1st. Now get to it.